so many people have gone on from being in these four walls to doing some amazing things in the industry.
I used to pay my builders in ministry CDs.
Yeah, right. There you go, bro.
I'm not even fucking joking.
The key bit as well is bringing the DJ back into the focus of the dance floor.
Armand van Helden for the birthday.
Amazing.
That was
incredible.
Insane.
I owe my career to this place.
Yeah. So we've launched 5 in-house brands in the past year.
Oh, how's the content? It's going to be amazing. Everyone's going to love it when we post that online. And they're like,
I was like, you're not going to like this, man.
No, this is Josh's wet dream, to sit in the middle of the box and literally talk about Ministry of Sound. Yeah. Welcome back to Loud Unfiltered. Today we are filming in one of the most iconic spaces in London at the Box at Ministry of Sound. But I just wanted to come on here and say thank you very much to everyone who's downloaded, everyone who's listened. But to keep this podcast going, we need to get as many subscribers as we can so we can keep bringing you the best podcast. Please give us a like and hit that subscribe button on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify and Apple. But yeah, massive thank you to everyone. And here's the next episode. Welcome back to Loud Unfiltered. Today we have a very special episode. We're doing this live from the new refurbished box inside Ministry of Sound. I'm joined with Josh, my fellow presenter, who has a lot of great history in ministry and all he ever talks about in the office. You've got to say this is probably one of the most iconic spaces in dance music. Everyone has played here, from Larry Levan, DJ Harvey, Carl Cox, Annemie Lenz, Tony Humphries, Frankie Knuckles. You can kind of feel the history around us. We're joined by two of superstars, I shall say, who are kind of rewriting the new chapter of Ministry of Sound. And we kind of want to get in and have a chat and find out a bit more. Welcome to the podcast, Matt and Joe. How are we doing, boys?
good. How are you?
Yeah, we're good.
Lads.
Yeah, very good, very good. We kind of just want to get straight into it. Like, Matt, we've known each other for, well over 10 years from the glory days back in Leeds. Joe, we've worked on a couple of different projects together, from E1 to various other clubs around London. Tell us a little bit about yourselves and where you've come from and kind of how you've kind of ended up here as well.
Yeah, of course. I think we've been knowing each other for way over 10 years.
Yeah, it probably is. I was trying to make us feel younger there.
The back of the early days. So we knew each other from Leeds. I kicked off my career doing Monocult there, Open Canal Mills, and then done various projects since then with like Canvas Yard, which we all worked on together doing that. Yep. And I also had a food and drink project, Chow Down, and now I've joined, as you said, the iconic Ministry of Sound. So I'm the club director here.
Okay, amazing. Joe?
Yeah, I've known you guys a long time. I guess I first started in the industry about 10 years ago with Lock and Load Events, who are now Louder, that do the Fridays here. So I've kind of gone full circle. I was across sort of festivals, started in festivals, Southwest 4, was doing Together at Amnesia. And then I sort of moved over to E1. So I've always remained just in the London club world. Then COVID sort of killed it all, as we all know.
Yeah.
And then I moved to label for a little bit, worked for Shogun Audio, and then dipped over here to Ministry of Sound, which has always had a place in my heart.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I mean, we're super buzzing to have you both on, and there's so much going on in ministry now, and obviously Josh has got so much history here, so I'm going to let him take the lead.
Yeah, I feel like, we were just saying, there's been we've had a lot of ex-ministry people on the podcast. I think Caitlin actually was one of the first episodes that we did when she... Yeah, back last year.
Was the first,
She was the first, or one of the first couple, I think. So you're actually the first. This is actually a bit of a record for us, as you're the first brand, at least, to return. So you obviously be like you guys.
Be like that.
It's our first one from a club as well, which we're super excited about. So
I think as Alex said, jokes aside, there's ministry has been a huge part of my life. It was it was one of a proper rite of passage for me coming in, as it has been for so many people in the industry. So it's been awesome for me to work with you guys again, obviously doing all the PR marketing for the club for the last couple of years. But yeah, man, this is, it's a huge year, 35 years, massive anniversary. And this room is like night and day. It's insane. So that unbelievable amount of changes. It's hard to not look at everything and just be playing show. This is actually my first time in the box since the refurb. So it's exciting to see it. It's unreal, man. It's unbelievable. Like when I walked in earlier on, the size of it without this, I mean, the stacks obviously are legendary.
Mhm.
You know,
It's big
iconic.
room again.
Yeah,
Yeah, it feels
proper big
big,
room.
doesn't it?
It's
Yeah.
insane how much space it feels like there is in here. It's mega. But yeah, what do you think? I guess tell us a little bit about the changes that have happened. Obviously, everything has been ripped out. But yeah, tell us what's going on and why now? You know, first time in 35 years, I guess the box has been touched.
Yeah.
Talk us through it.
So a few things here. So, you know, we're hitting 35 years. It's a big year for us, but ultimately the box has been such an iconic space in both London and across the world as a clubbing space. But over the last few years, we felt like it had a bit of disconnect between the DJ and the audience and the customers and stuff. So for us, it was really about, right, it's 35 years. What can we do to bring this back into the clubbing focus and sort of reposition ourselves for the next 35 years?
Yep.
And we worked with Lucid Create and Patchwork, and over the last 12 months to both procure a sound system and also work from an AV perspective to sort of go, what can we do to go, this is us again. It's an iconic space. It's breathtaking and really around the sensories and stuff. We kind of lost that in the latter years of the box space. And Lucid have created this overhead visual bespoke sort of piece where it's like layers of screen, LED, and then completely bespoke sort of diamond, we're calling it. And then the key bit as well is bringing the DJ back into the focus of the dance floor. And we've kind of pulled it in where it's lowered the booth, brought it in so that people can dance all around it. The DJ feels more connected with the audience. And then we've allowed like a stage behind as well. So you've got that sort of 360 perspective.
Yeah.
It
feels a lot bigger. I was going to
It
say
feels
a lot
bigger, doesn't it?
It kind of is though. It is. I think because we had the stacks, which were obviously legendary, and it was a hard decision for us to make, right? Because Ministry's always been known for having the best sound system in the world, right? One of the best sound systems in the world, and I think it's like, how do you actually top that, right? And there was a lot of chat going around before about whether, you know, is it even going to be better? Is it? And you know, when we first sort of tested the sound, we were like, losing those stacks, I think it's such an iconic piece of Ministry history, and you know, Martin Audio's been here right from the start, so to kind of hear that those stacks were going, everyone, like, I think it took a little bit of
there's a lot of panic.
It's a bit of panic, right? And
just to jump in, that was the first thing I noticed when I walked in. I was like, oh no, where's the stacks done? But then I was like, oh wow, actually this looks incredible.
That's what everyone associated, you know, the stacks were the thing that people saw when you came in, but ultimately, like, it's like we wanted to make sure that the sound and the order was still correct, and that's why the anxiety of picking and doing the testing of all the correct, you know, we did
took months.
The guys, Oscar, our production manager, worked with Patchwork. They went, tested sound system all around the world. They went to places, went to studios, listened to stuff, and we also did last summer a week's worth of testing in the club. Nobody knew we were doing it. Actually, we replaced the Martin with different sound system KV2. We did head-on-head sound tests so that everyone from our resident DJs to all the club team to the customers, we really worked on what we were going to get right. And that was so key. Like, that was fundamental. You know, with Ministry of Sound, the sound needed to be correct. And that was absolutely, you know, so important to us. And we built everything else around that.
But with those stacks going, it was 6, right? 6? Yeah, 6. With the 6 stats gone, we've actually gained like an extra 200 cap in the room.
Oh, really?
So it is it is genuinely bigger now, which is great. And you know, it's nice when you're here and you're on the sort of new stage behind the booth. It's nice because you're now seeing like people come around the booth, right? And we never really had that before. It was always the DJ's up, and you know, he's up.
It was linear. You know, you came in and everyone was just in the line and looking up.
Yeah, and you know, I think those days are gone where the DJ's playing up in the gods and everyone's kind of worshipping the DJ. Now, you know, right? Yeah, obviously, yeah. But like, you know, now it's everyone's equal. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's like on the level, and it's like, you know, you're more of there's more connection with the crowd ultimately, which is what it's about.
One of the big things I think I noticed as well, I know you mentioned it, you know, the kind of sit the whole stage behind the DJ. That's obviously that was always something that was tricky at the club with the previous booth. You know, even if we were doing content or something when we were here, you're kind of stuck at the wee side bit, and like really, like, you know, there's so little room to breathe or to move around. You know, that's been a big trend in dance music, I guess, you know, with having this kind of like boiler room, I guess, esque type audience behind it. You kind of see it on everything now. Was that a big conscious part of the decision to have that whole space behind, where you've got this kind of more like 360 immersive feel to the setup?
Yeah, it was. It makes we've got more to be able to adapt the space a bit more as well, you know, and it's bringing and it's connectivity between the audience, the DJ, the audience in front of the DJ, behind and stuff. But it means, you know, when we've got performers, dancers, and stuff like that, we've got way more flexibility across all the different nights we do. But yeah, absolutely, we were in Ibiza last year and we went to see like Shinwa and how that flowed and stuff, and that was like we're taking inspiration from where we went, and it was like, right, what does the box need for the next 35 years to make, you know, people coming back here and stuff, and that's like, it was key really, a little bit in the design element.
I think, for me, just when you first start going out clubbing, right, it was very much just one big room, right? In most of the clubs that I remember from my early years going clubbing, it was just one room. And as soon as I started going to Ibiza and I was going to clubs like Amnesia or Privilege or like just any sort of like international club, really, you started to see that there are levels, right? And there's platforms and there's people that are above the DJ, there's people that are on the floor. And for me, that was like a whole transformation in like clubbing experience. And I think, you know, more and more clubs now that you go into, there is different levels of like where people are at. And I think it changes the experience. And like for me now in here, you know, just having all that space behind the DJ, it's just added a new viewpoint, new dynamic to it. So
and how Lucid have made the content for that back screen. Yeah, the people behind the DJ are now silhouettes of the visuals. So how they the color pop behind the screen, the people dancing behind it become part of the stage experience as well from the customers from the front. And it's like the silhouettes are like it looks incredible in here on a night.
Just quickly, I was going to ask: have you been watching people's faces when they walked in here and like they'd see their first reactions of it? And what's the feedback been like so far? Just
from my side, 100%. I've taken a few people in here. I remember one. It was Ralph Lawson when we were doing the press event, and we were walking around, and then he was like, "So this is a new room, right? Where's the box again?" He was like that, thrown off, disorientated, what we'd done, and I was like, no, this is the box, you know, because I think your visual from seeing the stacks and the used to being the DJ and stuff and bringing it so much back and like lowering the ceiling and stuff, it's like, it feels completely different. And we've seen it from a customer perspective. When you see them coming through the tunnel, it's like, wow, this is breathtaking. It's not, you know, they've created something that you're not going to go and see somewhere else in another club now. Yeah. So it's like really breathtaking.
Yeah. Amazing. So I want to, as it's 35 years this year, I thought we'd have a bit of a history lesson. I want to, like, do you remember your first covering experience when you first came to the Ministry of Sound? I'll start off and say, like, mine was, I think, David Guetta. I'm not going to say what year it is because I can't remember. But all I remember doing is standing on the stacks, dancing. I think it was probably off my head as well. But just having an amazing experience. And that was my first entry point into dance music. So, yeah, I want each of you to kind of tell me, what was your first experience?
I'll let you kick off.
Yeah, so, I mean, for me, I actually started doing artist liaison here when I was about 24. I'm not going to say how long ago that was either, but I started when I was working for Lock and Load. So they used to look after the gallery, which was like a legendary Friday night here. I'm sure most people are aware. And it was, you know, championing trance and a bit of EDM, I guess, but it was predominantly trance of that time, which isn't been my thing at all personally, but it was work, you know, you crack on. And it was actually, you know, it opened my eyes to that side of music, which is huge. And it's a proper community crowd in trance, you know, which is nice, but it was proper reach for the lasers vibes. Do you know what I mean? And like, I had like, I think it was, you know that, bruv. Yeah. I think it was like, Pink Panda. It was a duo.
The legend.
Pink Panda.
The legendary Pink Panda. Yeah. Never know who they are because they were masks, right? They had these masks on, and it was rammed out. I think there was like to the rafters, you know, 1,800 people in, and I was obviously, it's like my first shift doing artist liaison, right? And obviously you got 5 rooms here, yeah. So there's like 5 DJs. You got like a little label in the baby box over there, and I'm like running about. I've got my radio on. I've never really like used the radio before, and I'd like Pete, who's like head doorman here. He was like, Joe, artist liaison, where are you? And I was like, I'm in the box. I've just taken the headliners, like drinks through, just taking the ride, and it was like, no, come to the main door, and then like then the label after their drinks in the loft, and I think I must have racked up like 30,000 steps that night.
Oh wow,
Brilliant.
One
That was
artist
my
liaison for 5 rooms. That's very very poor planning.
Right, you know what I mean? Yeah, they beasted us, mate.
Yeah.
They beasted
Matt, do you
us.
remember yours?
I do actually. Yeah, I remember being young, and it was about 2008, 2009. Getting the train down from Leeds, coming down for Secret Sundays at the time when they used to do some of their legendary events, and I'd only been to a few of them, but they started doing Miniature Sound one summer back in the courtyard.
These are outside.
Outside,
Yeah,
when they used to do the function one outside. I don't know if anyone remembers the old Airstream that used to be out there as well. Yeah, and they used to have to bring you around. They didn't come through the front normal way and stuff, and it came through the back way. Used to be packed out, but I was super young, early 20s at the time, and I used to come down there and I'd just be like, whoa. Train down, train back, same day kind of thing.
Brilliant
for the day party.
I miss them days.
Yeah.
I miss them days. I mean, Josh, you've worked.
I've been trying.
Have you remembered to remember?
I've been trying for like
into one.
I've been trying for like multiple days to try and like remember. Honestly, like we were saying before, like everything molds into one.
Yeah.
I think it was a gallery show. Feel like it was either trance or drum and bass. I was definitely. I feel like it was like like Cosmic Gate or something, but I'm pretty sure it was a gallery. But that at the time as well was like, Ministry was, it kind of championed that sound. Trance was like, Ministry, I think for years, gallery was like one of the only places you could really see
Completely,
like global trance artists playing in London. Like it championed that sound massively. It had, I always noticed, from when I was before and when I was working here, I'm sure you guys do as well, like the difference in like how different the crowds are. Obviously, with different genres, the club is not pigeonholed as one sound, so it's everything. So but very different audiences, like different vibe in the club, but like the same people coming constantly. Dedicated fans who were coming both for the music and for the club because people just love this place.
Yeah,
like love this place. I think it was always interesting to see as well, the amount of tourists coming in as well. I don't know if you guys still see the same thing, but it's Ministry is and probably always will be, one of the powerhouses in global dance music. It's a brand that resonates. It's like the Man United of I feel sick that I've just made this comparison.
Wow.
Sick that I've made it as a Liverpool fan. But it is, you go everyone's Manchester United.
It is in the same sense.
It's like, but it's like, the in-betweeners. It's like Manchester United.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like, but everywhere in the world, people are like, oh, Ministry Sounds. They know it. Yeah. They know that logo.
It's so true.
And so, people are in London for a weekend. They're like, we're going to go out one night where we're going to go. They're like, well, we're going to go to fucking Ministry.
Yeah.
So it was always good. You all caught, like, while there was a lot of the same people, you also saw a lot of new faces that were coming and experiencing that sound that you just couldn't really feel anywhere else. So I think we talked about me and Greg talked about this recently, Trance, and I mean I won't quite use the Greg called them fascists, drum and bass and trance fans, but I was like, I wouldn't quite say that, but dedicated fans, trance in particular, that euphoric sound, and Ministry was a champion of that. And so I think it was a gallery show. And then obviously, working here, I was at so many countless things. Most of them I cannot fucking remember.
I'm going to squeeze some out of you later on.
Yeah, sure, they'll come out.
Just to bring it forward now, obviously you guys have been here a couple of years now, and you're kind of, you're leading things forward. What's been one of your standout moments, like whether since this has opened or even since you actually joined the club?
I've only been here just over a year myself. So coming on board and being able to, put a standpoint and in the box and
did you feel I don't know, like did you feel the history and feel the heritage and feel it was a big demand on you when you actually did
absolutely join like my history has been in Leeds and I've done some events down here when we used to do monocut and stuff, but it was all Leeds based. So coming down here, and obviously I knew everyone knows how important Miniature Sound is in the clubbing ecosystem, and coming on board and as club director and taking on the brand and stuff, absolutely, it's absolute pride in that. But during my initial interview process and all that, and I knew there was a bit of a disconnect, and there was talks of there's something we want to do with the box, but we didn't have any plans. So really for me, coming on board and then going, let's go with this and let's do this, and we'll bring on Lucid Creates as well to, if we're going to do it, let's do something really good. And all this senior team here are really supportive on that and really want to drive it forward and invest where, you know, it's right and stuff. And so, yeah, for me, this has been a absolutely pinnacle point in sort of.
So the actual change the box,
Yeah.
standout moment. For
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely. That's been, you know,
You've been building towards that.
yeah, absolutely. And I, you know, from my personally, I'm super proud of what we've done here as well. But even over the last 12 months leading up to that bit as well, like doing the VIP, bringing up a really good team. Joe's joined us as head of marketing. We've got a really good team. So it's like been proud moments of doing that over the last 12 months.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, anything you're super proud of since you've been here, or any special moments?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm really proud of the team actually, and also my marketing team. You know that we've sort of grown massively and changed as well quite a lot, because I actually started at the club in talent. So I started as a booker and then moved over to head of marketing. So I've sort of built the team up, and we've had some amazing shows, right? Like in the 2 years I've been here. Like, so I mean, it's too many to list, but like, I mean, a couple of standout ones would be like Armand van Helden for the birthday.
Amazing.
That was
like incredible.
Insane. Yeah, like one of the best, probably up there is probably the top 3 events I've ever been
Really?
to Ministry.
Oh, wow.
It was nuts.
Oh.
Absolutely nuts. I mean, I've always been a huge super fan of Armand anyway, and he's wicked. But yeah, that was insane. We've also grown our own sort of sub brands as well. So we've launched 5 in-house brands in the past year, and I'm super proud of sort of those in-house brands and sort of where we've got to with them, because they've kind of got an entity of their own now, which is super cool, and that's helping us to reinvent the club quite a lot. I think, you know, there's always been a perception that Ministry's fully been mainstream commercial, which it is, you know, and a lot of that is down to the label and, you know, the history of the compilations and all of that, you know, like I'm sure probably all of our mums at one point had a Ministry compilation, right? So that's
Talking about my mum, she's about 83. So.
but we're in. But
I used to pay my builders
yeah,
in Ministry CDs.
yeah, right. There you go, bro.
I'm not even fucking joking.
I mean, that's mad. Yeah, it's actually currency. It's currency.
They come out and be like, so listen, I'm like 20 quid short, but I've got a fucking 100 Ministry CDs here. Do you want to choose any?
Yeah. Right, and that's the thing, you can't forget that, right? And that's we it's a kind of we owe a lot to that, like in terms of like where the club and where the brand, has got to, right? But you know, from our side now, it's really been about reinvigorating the club and kind of showing people that it's also, you know, a mad, insane underground club as well that champions underground music as well as kind of those big commercial names. And I think you know, we've got a lot to thank for the history, like, and that's partly the reason that a lot of internationals come through, you know, because we are on the map, like, globally. There's not many clubs, I think, in the UK that have such a global footprint that we do.
Yeah, so you've kind of segued quite nicely onto what I was going to ask you actually about just talking about the kind of marketing of the brand. I was here pre the sale to Sony. A couple of the things you just said there is interesting to touch on. So, you know, I was doing the tour stuff, running tours and programming events all over the world. At the time, you know, pre the sale, Compilations was huge. I think there was like 55 a year or 60 compilations a year or something. You couldn't turn the TV on a night without seeing 3, 4, 5 Ministry adverts on every fucking show that you watched, which was good. I mean, at the time, we used to hate it.
Yeah.
Because it was like, you know, when you're trying to book like super cool events and stuff all over the world, and then you're competing with like R&B anthems and Ministry, whatever, fucking crazy, mad compilation, every single genre of music, which we, you know, but so you're competing with that because then you've got this global thing. But what I realized when we lost that, was it was free marketing. You know, the amount you couldn't. It's a big reason why, going back to what we were saying, why you go to anywhere in the world, people know Ministry, they know the brand because of the compilations. Have you found? You know, you mentioned you've launched a few new brands, which look like they're doing great. How have you found continuously finding ways to market the venue and the brand in innovative ways, you know, since I guess you guys went here just after the sale, but without having that kind of global presence and TV presence that the brand previously had, and it's an increasingly competitive venue landscape both in London and beyond. And how have you managed to keep that going? Do you find it super challenging? I
think it's always a challenge in marketing a club, because it is hugely competitive in London, and particularly for a club like Ministry with such a vast, wide programming that we have right at the club. So we welcome most genres, pretty much all genres, to be fair, through the door, and we work with such a huge book of promoters as well, right? So we do a full mix of in-house shows, which probably make up, I don't know, 50%, would you say? 50% of the program, I guess, are probably in-house, and that's why we've kind of launched and developed these in-house brands to kind of manage all of our in-house shows under those 5 entities, right? And keep quite a clear marketing strategy and a clear brand entity for each of those. So that's kind of how we've managed with the in-house stuff, and then you've got external promoters coming in, and then we do a lot of co-pros as well. So the challenge, I think, is being able to segment your audience, right, through anything from down, like it's easier with CRM and things like that, and being able to do email, broadcasts and mail outs and like growing communities to then talk to in those niche pockets, which helps. But the challenge, as you said, Josh, is like when you're kind of known as this huge global beast, how do you kind of then pivot that into being like a new and improved or a newly launched underground club, right? And I think part of that is why we've done this huge refurb, is to kind of like relaunch Ministry 2.0.
Yeah,
essentially.
Like freshen it up,
man. Yeah, it's 35 years, right? So like after a while, you've got to switch things up. You've got to show that you've got to be disruptive. That's a huge part in it, right? Continually being disruptive.
Yeah.
You've got to keep a fresh program. You've got to be able to like reinvent yourself and launch these new brands to keep fresh, and also to appeal to a younger audience. I think that's the other thing, is a lot of the previous programming that we were doing. So Gallery, for example, probably had a much older audience.
Yep.
And we want to make sure that we're always staying relevant, particularly as people are just getting into clubbing and just getting into to going out and getting into dance music. We want to make sure that we're hitting that target market. So I think a huge part is content. I mean, content is cliche as fuck, but content is king, right? Like we all know that. So making sure that our creative team are doing the best they can to really push the boundaries, and we've had a whole rebrand. We literally wiped our socials, which was a proper scary moment. It's like, are we doing the right thing? Should we do it? Like, is there going to be a backlash
on the 2nd of January? Just going,
you know what I mean? And it was a scary moment for me, because I was the one leading that and pushing the button, right? Do you know what I mean? And just wiping everything, like, from the past 35 years. Like,
oh wow!
You know what I mean, delete.
I'm sure Instagram was around over years ago.
Yeah. But like, I mean, we had some archive content, mate. Do you know what I mean? We still repurposed that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to wipe all that and then relaunch was a big moment for us, and making sure that when we come back and we put the lights on, that we had some strong creative to complement that. And that's what we've done. Sabrina, our head of creative, has smashed it with her direction. Adam, Natalie, Lucas on my team, they've worked really hard from the content to design to and then just making sure that we market that in the right way.
Yeah, I was going to say, it leads perfectly on. It's like, obviously club culture's all changed, the audience is changing. Like, how do you see Ministry now evolving into the next 3, 4, 5, 10 years?
So few bits that we've been, like leaning on what Joe's just said here, that we've gone, right, where do we see the brand here? What are we doing as a bit of not a brand reset, but like how we're evolving. We've kicked off tours or doing events outside of the club again. And we're really picking locations and partners that we're doing those with, so they really represent what we're about now, what we're doing as Ministry of Sound. So we've just done a really big showcase event in Dubai last month, end of January, and that had people like Armin van Helden, Dennis Ferrer, DJ Tennis, huge list of artists. And we're going into like Miami Music Week again. We're working with partners over there to deliver a really key show. We're going to do one show this year in Ibiza, and we're building back up and going, right, this year we're doing some really key locations for this year for our 35th year. To then next year we're looking at some residencies and stuff, and we're kind of, you know, everything that we're doing at the club and rebuilding the brand here as well. We're also launching the merch brand as well and doing like a capsule collection across our clothing range as well, and just trying to tap into all those different audiences and just be like, it's not just the club again. We're back. We're a brand. This is where we're at. We've got the global reach again, and position ourselves again across that in those little different touch points.
Yeah, I'm loving seeing the brand back on tour again. Obviously, I think this is the first time. Well, it's the first time since I was here.
Yeah,
basically that it's actually you've had an in-house team that's been driving stuff, and Jared actually is running things now. He used to book shows off me. When I was when he was in Qatar, like he was the guy booking the ministry shows over there. So yeah, but it's awesome to see. You know, I think the brand, you know, with its global presence and how much it's loved and known worldwide, it's always deserved to be out there and be on the road and, you know, in these awesome venues and awesome places. And, you know, Dubai is a perfect example in front of the eye and the big wheel, and you know, lineups of the scale that are booking in it, and 3,000 odd, 3,500, 4,000 people, whatever it was at the show. That's where the brand should be. So yeah, for me, it's like, I'm loving it. I'm loving seeing the brand back, and, you know, just supporting Jared in different ways, and, you know, and you guys, and
you got such a connection with ministries. Like, as I said at the start, like
I still talk.
Lived and breathed it.
I owe my career to this place.
Yeah,
like,
you see the passion though as well, John.
And I you know, I talk about this. I said before I was saying to Caitlin, there's like I talk about two things in my other than Liverpool and in the industry. I talk about two things with like real passion: is Glastonbury and ministry.
Yeah,
like Glastonbury, I'm a geek, like proper gimp, like just a fucking Glasgow freak. But like ministry, I will always feel like I'm part of this brand. Always. Like, I was here for 6-7 years. It was such a huge part of my life. I love it. You know, I owe the brand, and there are so many people in the industry now who came through this brand. You know, it's a proper right. It's a proper rite of passage for so much of the industry. It's considered, it's a tough place to work.
Yeah.
But, you know, I couldn't do what I do now without my experiences here. So many people will say the exact same thing. But what is it about this place you think that brings, like, so many of the, like I said, you know, so many of the industry have worked here and are now doing these top things? What is it about this place you think is special? Because it is more special than like anywhere else.
Good question. It is, you're right though. Like, since joining here, everywhere I go, you know, when you go to ADE, you meet people who, I work there, I've done that, and so many people have gone on from being in these four walls to doing some amazing things in the industry, and like you say, and everyone's really passionate about what they've done and their experiences here and stuff. So I don't know. I guess these four walls can, you know, got some history and can speak for themselves. But it's like there's a real drive.
Well, I think to a degree, though,
the water's different here.
Yeah. But there's always been there's always been like you know, a kind of focus to just deliver the best that ministry possibly can in all areas, right? And I think that goes back right to the start, from when Justin launched it, right? He was doing all he could to make sure that he was bringing massive talent, like big name talent from New York and Chicago to here, and obviously then, you know, I think over the years it's been through so many different teams and different departments have come in and shaped it, and I think there's always been a level to uphold and maintain that like quality.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think from all departments you see like Oscar and the tech team on the night are doing everything they can to make sure that the visuals and the production and the sound and everything's on point. Like the creative team with the content rollout, you know, and in the marketing team, we're always doing our best to make sure that we stand out. We're better than anyone else. And I think that's partly what it is that like people really do put their all into it here.
Yeah,
they're grafting, man.
Yeah, and it's the keeping the legacy going.
It's passion, like it's real passion that goes into it and comes from the top, from Matt through down to the team, like, and even above, like, you know, Lohan still comes in and we still have the odd meeting with him, and he'll come to the odd like event here as well, and I think it means a lot when you see him like real proud.
Mate,
No one's got the
of
foot
the
off the
team.
gas.
So-
You know what I mean, and like back to the Caitlin thing as well. Like Caitlin's in the build. You know, she's in the club night. She's seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, she's the group MD, but she's here. She's seeing what's happening.
Yeah.
Seeing what the customer's saying, and for us, it's instilled with everybody in the office,
Properly.
like from the accounts team to the IT team to maintenance. Everyone literally, it doesn't matter what role they play in this building,
Yeah.
they live and breathe it.
Yeah,
and it really pays off.
I don't know if you guys still do this, but when I first started, the label was still here. There was 170. The office was double the size, 3 times the size what it is now. There was 160, 70 people in the building, and they used to do like lunch with Lohan for the new starters,
Okay.
right? And it was like, so,
That's pretty
mate,
naughty.
it was,
fucking
it
scary.
was. I will never. I talk about this a lot, and I will never, ever, ever forget it because that was a huge reason. Exactly what you're saying now.
Right.
Why? And I think it is.
People stay.
Yeah, free lunch.
How many people got fired
course we
after
did.
that? After the
Of course we did. Well, that's for another podcast. But the
Sounds vibes.
but so they'd have like there was 12, 13 different departments, however it was, and they'd wait. You'd wait so there was like 10, 12 new starters in the building, and then they'd do a lunch, and you sit in the boardroom. Lohan sat at the top of the table. We get all the free sandwiches and shit. Lovely,
Yeah.
great.
Nice.
And he just told the story of Ministry.
Sick.
And he's been here since the beginning.
Yeah,
and,
he's got a lot, man.
Well, not quite since
Got
the
a lot.
very, very beginning, but like near enough the beginning, and
Yeah.
huge part of the compilations and where that came
Of course.
from, and drove that side. But it was the fucking Wild West in here.
Yeah.
Early 90s.
Yeah.
This was like it was fucking cowboys and Indians, man. It was wild. And I remember sitting there, and it was my first. This was my first like industry / corporate role in the music industry. Before this I'd run events and I'd done my own thing and run my own brands and built my own stuff, but this was like my first you're really in the industry now. And I sat there for an hour or whatever it was, and I remember sitting there with my jaw on the fucking floor just listening to him tell these stories, and I was like, oh my God, this is this place.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? And I
Yeah.
was like, to be part of something. And at the time as well, was when did I start working here? Like early 2000s, middle of 2009, 10 or something. I can't remember, something like that.
Yeah.
It was a beast. With Compilations still running, it was everywhere. The brand was everywhere, globally present everywhere. And it was a powerhouse, it's still a powerhouse. And I remember getting the interview, and, it was Fav at the time who was running the department when I started. And I remember like feeling like this is it. Like you've like all this grinding and all doing these fucking events and flyering and driving around fucking Leeds with selling guest list tickets to like fucking 18-year-old freshers. And,
Yeah.
We've
And
all
like-
been there, mate.
No, we've all
Everyone's gone on that.
we've all
debate.
done it. We've all done it. Almost all of us in Leeds.
club.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
With your
fly-
hood up, getting piss wet through with some
Yeah,
wet
yeah.
flyers,
Yeah.
flying.
What
I
have you
still
done?
lost $5 grand at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Unless you've lost money promoting, then
Yeah, you
Yeah,
haven't got your
but
teeth,
I,
have
but
you?
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that for me anyway was a big like that. I remember that day I was like, fuck, like you're
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of
yeah,
this
yeah.
thing, and that gave me, and I'll never ever ever forget that meeting ever. It was such a massive part of my like entry into the world of music and events, and
Yeah.
and I think that massively instilled this like instant pride of the brand.
Yeah.
And that's why it stuck with me forever.
I think
Like,
that's it,
will
man.
always stick
And,
with me.
and that's so relatable. There's so many people that I talk to in the company now who have at one point maybe been here in their career. They're kind of here, and it's like when you're navigating the mad world of the music industry, it's like where do you really want to go? Where do you end up? At what point do you really feel like you've kind of made it?
Yeah.
Right. And I think for me, that's Ministry. Literally, like I've worked in quite a few different clubs, different brands, different labels, right across the board, and worked with a huge amount of different businesses in the industry as well. But I think it's such a relatable thing that we all share here, right? That once you're here, it's like where do you go next? Do you know what I mean? Like for me, it's kind of like this is it. This is the pinnacle. Do you know what I mean? And like, it's relatable with what you said about the jaw dropping moment. Do you know what I mean? Like, because still, even when I'm chatting with Lohan 2 years in here, and I've spoken to him countless times now, when you still hear those old stories, those like legendary stories, when it was the Wild West, right back then, and there was
I wish I could tell some of these stories.
Oh, me
I
too.
wouldn't do it to you.
Me
Lohan.
too.
I'm sorry, I
Me too. Right, but like,
An After Dark episode.
oh mate, we need it.
A new
We
one,
need
yeah.
it. Yeah, you need to get Lohan on it, really. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
mad.
I mean, you mentioned that you've worked at lots of different clubs, you've worked at lots of different places in Leeds. Well, how do you think, like, after COVID now, people seem to be coming back up. There's lots of new clubs opening, especially in London now. Where do you think Ministry kind of sits within the London landscape, and then also the UK, but then also globally as well? Where do you think it sits now, and within those three different places?
Firstly, to your point about coming back after COVID and stuff, like certainly from my side, I've seen like some places have bounced back incredibly well, like Manchester and stuff like that. And London has, and people seem to be going, doom and gloom. People aren't going out and stuff, but they're out. They are going out, but just people are just going out at different, they're going out for occasions. You're not just coming out every Saturday and stuff and enjoying clubbing. People are buying specifically for an event and stuff. And we're still seeing, really strong numbers coming in, and they are going out. And I think that peddling that, oh, people aren't going out, they are, and London's exciting, and DJs still want to play here all the time, even though they can go get 2-3 times the fees elsewhere. They still want to play in London, and London's still like that hot place. Where do we see ourselves in?
Yeah, the London landscape. Yeah, the London landscape. It's competitive as well. There's lots going on, but like I think Ministry has something unique, and like, yeah, do you market in a different way, or how are you trying to position it within, I suppose, a global scene as well?
I think also just to add to that question, particularly within the last couple of years, I guess, because I agree with you. I think especially in the last couple of years, London has really picked up.
Yep.
Massively
and it's
changed.
Exciting to see new things opening.
That's what I mean. I think the first time in a long time, we've seen 5-6 new venues open up.
Yeah. It's
great
lively again, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It even feels like a new venue's opening.
For the ecosystem,
well, so,
we want
it's
things
brand new.
That's it, man.
We need new things.
Yeah.
We need new places for people to go and experience, and it supports it. The ecosystem is supported constantly. So we have to like get new things opening, and it means that there's new promoters coming through. There's new DJs coming in, they're playing and stuff, and we are we're a big club. We're not a super club and stuff, but it's like it means that new things are happening. The ecosystem is getting supported, and it means that people are coming back out and about and stuff, and it's good. I mean, London's healthy.
Yeah. It's nice to see the new venues open. I think it goes back to what I was saying about reinventing ourselves and making sure that we're always doing something to kind of like stay on top, really, because I see Ministry as a leading club in London, 100%. Like, and there are some other clubs that are smashing it, big time. Like, and I've got some real favourite clubs in London as well. Like, obviously I'm biased, you know what I mean, but.
We won't name them.
Yeah, you ain't gonna name them. No, exactly. It's about us. But like, I do see what's great about Ministry is that we are that destination venue. Yeah, so we're always going to have a big mix of internationals coming through, which is great. It's amazing to see, and that's why we try and keep the program fresh and varied. And we always have like a strong walk up of people coming, like week in, week out. We've always had that. People know that, right? And it's partly down to where we are. Like location wise, it's accessible. There's always people about. You've got a lot of bars around here, and there's people that just come straight from London Bridge and all around that area. Do you know what I mean? But it's nice that you always get people just turning up. Do you know what I mean? Just because it's Ministry, regardless of the program, it doesn't even matter what's on.
I think that's something.
Want to come to the club?
Yeah, that's something I was going to mention the walk up thing as well, because obviously post COVID, everything shifted.
Yeah,
buying habits shifted.
Yeah.
People weren't buying things far in advance, but that's something that you guys never necessarily relied on, because you always knew, obviously there's the odd event that sells out well in advance, but Ministry has always been a club, as you said, where you do some really good tickets beforehand, but there's always been a huge walk up footfall.
Yeah.
So I guess, a lot of people struggled massively, maybe more so than you guys did.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you didn't struggle, because everybody struggled, but I think a lot of people who were entirely reliant on those pre-sales, that was a slightly different beast for you guys, because, the walk-up's always been crazy. I remember, I've even working here, and I remember there being like nights where it's like, tickets are okay, and then suddenly it's like, let's run people away.
Yeah.
It's like the walk-up's just insane. It just blows up.
It go that crazy.
It was crazy. Yeah. And I'm sure you guys have seen the same thing. Yeah. You still see the same
that,
thing.
Man. Like quite often. Sorry, carry on.
I was going to say, which leads on from what we were saying, younger audiences, obviously for you guys, that's for everybody wants to make sure they're getting in touch with the kids. Kind of what I was saying before as well about the positioning of the brand through compilations and stuff on TV. It was always hindsight, because obviously we didn't know at the time, but what that did was it was prepping the next generation of clubbers to know what the brand was. So, people who, kids who were 12, 13, 14, they were seeing the brand and they were seeing Love Island adverts, they were seeing all their favourite TV shows, Geordie Shores and all this stuff. Ministry was everywhere. Suddenly when and they couldn't go clubbing then, but when they're 18, the first place they're going to go to is Ministry, because that's the club that's been shoved down their throats basically for the last 5-6 years. That's changed now. So like this new generation aren't seeing the brand in the same way.
Of course.
How are you guys finding, how are you working out new ways to kind of get in touch with the kids? Obviously, they're going out a little bit less, drinking less. How are you guys combating that? And what are you doing to combat it?
Yeah, there's a few ways. So a lot of it comes down to targeted marketing. So as I said before, making sure that we're segmenting properly, making sure that we're being super organized with our data, and that it matches up to specific genres, specific sounds, specific communities. We're focusing more now on community marketing rather than just, I'd say probably 5 years ago, it was a lot about organic posts and more about what was going out on your social. We all know how hard it is these days to beat the algorithm, right? I think it's
we're pretty good at that.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's it. But like, you know what I'm saying? It's difficult, man. And I think paid ads is a biggie, because it's easy to, you can hit the right targeting with the right people that are overseeing the ads. And if you've got the right content, you can tap into that. A lot of it is about making sure that we're reaching out for influencer marketing as well. We do a little bit of that on the side of things. PR helps from time to time.
Really good
agency there.
Guys we know.
This agency that we work with.
A few guys we know, they do all right.
Just to know, that's not why they're on the podcast, because they are telling an amazing story about Ministry of Sound.
Yeah, they just paid. They just paid enough.
Those Jukes guys do all right. Jukebox are all right. Yeah, plug.
Sorry, I just wanted to. Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say. We also try and program things accordingly to actually make sure that it's relevant as well to younger people coming through, and
it's okay.
Travis is head of talent, he works really hard, and we all do actually. We often have sit down chats about just what's popping, looking at the market as well, like what are people booking, what's going on in Ibiza, what's going on in South America, what's going on the other side of the world, what's happening in Asia, what's happening, do you know what I mean? It's keeping your finger to the ground, your ear to the pulse, and you know what I mean, just making sure that we're on it.
Yes. And then little bits back to your comment about, the younger audience not drinking as much and stuff. We launched the like last summer, sort of like a no and low range here, which you're probably thinking, what, going to do that in Clubland? But it's key to basically adapting to people, changing.
Yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
No and low alcohol range.
Oh, right, okay.
So
amazing.
We've got a range of non-alcoholic beers now.
We ran the PR campaign, by the way.
Did we? Yeah, it was good.
Did you know there's non-alcoholic beers? Do you know that?
They do exist.
Non-alcoholic.
They do exist.
Non-alcoholic.
What?
Yeah.
So I didn't know about it.
What is this word you taught?
We've got like tripping. We're working with Peak as well.
Yeah, amazing. I know that
range. So you're not just turning up at the bar and going, there's a water or a glass of Coke available. We want to make it so it's accessible because
market's changed.
Yeah, the market's changed.
Yeah, behaviours have changed.
Behaviours change.
More importantly,
and people are really
they want
caring
to look after themselves, believe it or not.
They're caring about what they're putting in the body, and we want to make sure that we've got
crazy.
The fridge range is there from the variety and stuff.
Comparable now,
and also
what the 90s look like.
DJs are the same. DJs aren't
and their riders as well.
All the time. Their riders have changed
a lot.
Massively.
And we're also doing events to complement that, right? So we've launched Ministry of Sound Games, which is a huge avenue now, and it's really successful. It's really taken off. So that's combining raving with fitness. Clues in the name, funnily enough. But we've been working with some amazing personal trainers, and various businesses in the fitness world to come in and completely transform the venue into a kind of mass circuit training, rave up.
What's it's going to be in here in the box?
Yeah,
We've done it a few times.
Wow, all right, okay.
Yeah,
We've done.
I don't know the high rocks type vibe. Is it a competition or how?
it
or
gets
just explain
competitive.
how it's going to work, sort of thing. Yeah.
It's
Just-
competitive, but
just-
it's more
just
social.
Sparks are funny. I'll go into this.
It's
in a
more
second.
social though. It's more,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
less super raw, built up like competition.
It's circuits,
Right,
so
okay.
they move
Circuits.
around the room. So I've actually led the not led in a fitness way. Yeah, massively. Look at it.
Can you tell
Yeah,
that we're both?
Come on. Yeah.
Joe X.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's
He's
it,
got
mate.
his tracksuit on today.
Don't normally wear a tracksuit. Just for you, Alex. So yeah, I was DJing the spinning session actually that happened. Just straight drum and bass and jungle, just mad energy, and it's wicked, man. It's
Perfect thing for a spin class.
yeah, right. But it's good to see it going off and people just like loving it, having a good time. So we're super
Right.
excited about that as well.
One of the just as a slight side tangent. One of the funniest events that I used to love here. I was never actually at it, but it was Morning Gloryville. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah.
that.
Bloody hell, yeah, that was an old
which
one.
which was sober ribs, right? You know,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like
yeah,
first thing in the morning. Do you know that?
Yeah, it was like 8
And we
a.m.
used
or
to-
something.
it was
on
like
a
it
Monday.
was like 8 a.m. We'd come in, we'd all come into the office, and you'd have these like fucking fairies and stuff, and like actual like fairies, like people are all dressed in like fucking fairy outfits and elves and all this mad shit, and they're all like sober.
7 a.m.
And yeah, at 7 a.m. and we're
Yeah,
all
yeah.
coming into the office in the morning, and they're all we'd all come into the box and stand at the back, and they're all just have it. Fatboy Slim and Roger Sanchez and shit
Oh,
playing.
wow.
At the
Yeah, it was big
and
names.
we're just
though,
like,
yeah.
what the fuck is this? And they're all
Yeah.
just going for it like mad. So, you know, sober raves, it's not like, you know, it's not the newest thing, but it's obviously
You've
much
got to
more
be able to
prominent-
appeal to that
much more
audience, though,
prominent
Yeah,
now.
100%.
going to start. Alcohol is going to start being cheaper than soft drinks.
Yeah.
So that's what I seen. The alcohol.
Sugar
The
tap.
alcohol industry is like losing their fucking mind at this generation.
yeah,
Not
of course.
drinking. There's been like it's like £5 billion dropped off their market value or
Mad.
something in the last year.
Oh,
I read that
mental,
that number could be a lot less than what it actually is. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy numbers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
so-
kind of just want to take it back. The main reason we're here really is because Ministry of Sound is 35 years. To still be around during that, and it's sort of stood its test of time. Yeah, what are the plans for the 35th years? Have you got anything like big tour planned, big birthday? Like, yeah, what is in store?
We've
we
got
got
lots,
lots,
man.
man.
We got a lot.
We got shit. I don't know where
we've
to
got
start. Okay, so
You kick off with
I'll
some, and
kick
I'll
off,
kick
and then
off
you
with
can,
some.
anything I've missed out. Yeah, there's a lot.
We've been working on this all, you know,
So
as
we've
a team across the board for the last 12 months.
and it's been very kind of to a timeline. You know, it's been very time constrained, and we've been making sure that we want to hit those points because there's a lot to cram into a year. I guess most importantly, we're doing the global tour, right? So we're back. You know, we're going global. We're going outside of these incredible four walls. And the plan is to do 35 locations for the 35 years, which Jared and the team are leading. And actually, it's almost shaping up to potentially be more than 35. I think is what
Yes.
what I hear, which is great. And it's been so far we've done I think 4 or 5, starting off in UAE and Dubai, and we've just locked in Miami and Ibiza, which
Great.
is super exciting. Yeah. So we've got some really exciting shows coming up globally with some banging lineups as well, some big names. So we're really excited about that. That's the first thing. We've got obviously we've just redone the box, which is the biggest thing for the 35th year. But off the back of this, just sort of leading up to it, we've also renovated each room in its own way. So the box was kind of the last piece of the puzzle really and it was all gearing up for this 35th year. So we redid the 103 and we put the new kinetic light rig in, which has been incredible. A lot of people thought that was the main room actually for a long time.
Yeah.
Which then we realized we actually need to develop the main the main
Yeah, the main beast.
strikes of what we do, the main beast, which is now we've done to another level. But we've also done the VIP, we've done the loft, we've done the baby box. Every little bit of the club has been revamped. You know, so we're putting a lot of effort and a lot of investment back into the club. We've also got a whole load of merch and apparel and product range dropping, which we've just done our first drop. We've got quarterly drops of that stuff to come. We've also got a book which is in the works, which is coming out in September.
Is that like coffee table
Nice.
style?
Yes.
Okay, that'd be amazing.
So
I'd
it
love
goes
to
into
have
full
that,
history.
Yeah, we worked
Yeah.
with
Great.
Simon Moore, which is our old ex-creative director. He's worked with Rizzoli,
Yeah.
publisher too, and it's going to be an amazing coffee book. And he's reached out to ex-employees, every DJ that's
Fuck, he's
possible.
not fucking called me.
Every possible DJ that's
he's
been
had
through
some-
here, he's found.
He's locked some insane interviews.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
All
I'm
right,
not going to
that's
say
great.
anything, but trust me, there is some
and he's,
serious.
he's really pulled
conversations
together
happening.
some lovely stories about
You know
what's
what? I
going
think
on.
that'll do super well because, as we were saying, I think everyone in our industry as well, they have some sort of connection to
Yes.
Ministry of Sound, whether
Yeah,
it was the
yeah,
first
yeah,
place
yeah.
they went to, whether they've worked here or whether they've DJ'd here as well. So,
Yeah.
I think that's amazing when clubs do that. And
Mm.
because Ministry of Sound is we're probably one of the global leading brands, really, to have all that history and bring that all together. That will be incredible. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
It'll be amazing.
And then, obviously, most importantly, which should we say, is obviously celebrating the 35th year, which, a birthday, sorry, which we've got 3, which we can't mention yet, 3 super exciting events on the Friday, Saturday day, Saturday night, which all tap into different parts of our history and also the future of what the club is.
Yeah.
And what dates are those?
It's going to be across the October the 3rd, 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
You put me on the
Okay,
spot.
sorry.
There.
You
First
should-
weekend
you
of
should
October.
know that, man.
First
Yeah,
week
I
of
should
October.
know that straight away. First week of October.
Yeah.
And they're like a real showpiece of what we believe, like strong history and sort
There's
of
something for everyone.
Yeah. That's and it hitting different demographics. It's really good.
The place is, I can't remember what the question was before this one, so
Funny
I can
stories.
segue into it. Just so I can try and segue into this without it being too random. What are we talking about? We're talking about youth audiences, young kids, programming, all that
Working
shit.
there, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to just talk about your work? Do you want me to ask you the question?
That's what I'm saying.
Should we flip it around and just go, hi, Josh?
No, because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
well, no, it is a funny story, and everybody say good saying.
Do you want me to ask the questions? Have you got any funny stories?
yeah, that's saying.
No, we say
We can keep this in, by the way. This is
So
great.
I love it.
so. I'm trying to think.
So,
of the
Josh,
words
tell us
to-
about your history of working at Ministry of Sound and some
So,
funny
Josh,
stories.
Do you know this is Josh's wet dream to sit in the middle of the box and literally talk about Ministry of Sound?
Yeah, I know.
This
it's
is
great.
amazing.
It's great. I know more about ministry than you two.
Yeah, you probably do. You definitely
The
do.
thing is, you do.
You do.
So when you come to say,
Yeah.
what's your funny story? Oh, actually, Matt, I'll jump in.
Yeah, really. Do you guys should we start again? You guys
Josh,
should
tell us
interview
about
me.
Ministry of Sound.
Yeah. Sounds about 35 years of ministry.
All right,
Well,
I reckon. Do you know what? We're going to keep all that in because this is
Yeah,
like,
funny
we've
bits.
all got a passion for Ministry of Sound. But
Yeah, bro.
Josh, what like all of you, it must be a really fun place to work. Like, have you got any funny stories from your time here? And I know Josh has probably got plenty as well. So
I've got some great ones.
Yeah, I've
You
got a
guys must
few.
have some
I've got a
good ones,
couple. I guess
I probably get less in trouble for telling mine than
I
you.
think you probably got more slightly dodgy ones, than I have, because you could probably get away with a lot more back when you were here. But I guess a recent, certainly a memorable one. We had to do some last minute content for Mac 10 and friends. Which obviously he's a legend in the grime world. We've started doing this Mac 10 and Friends show. We've built it massively. It's been smashing it. He's brought some amazing guests through, Wiley, Chip, like list goes on. He's brought some mad names, and we've got a big one coming up 28th of March. Sly plug. But basically he is always super creative with the content, but we didn't really have a plan for this one in particular. And it was a bit sort of like off the cuff, but we needed something. We needed to pull it out of the bag with 2 weeks to go. I'm sure we've all been there. We know the drill.
Yeah.
And so he normally, you might have seen, he does these streams out on the street, right? And they're called The Essence, and he gets a load of MCs and he's like jumping around the street and dancing about and that. So we just suggested maybe he could do something in the office, right? And we were thinking, maybe he just comes in at night or something. And he was like, well, no, I'll just come in the day. So he's basically rocked up. We didn't even tell anyone, right? Because we wanted it to be like a natural reaction, yeah. So like hardly anyone knew, and he's just rocked up with this like little portable PA speaker and his controller, right, and a load of like banging like dirty grime tunes, and he's just rolled through like slinging these rhythms through and just jumping about past reception, and like they're trying to stop
no one knew
him.
about it.
No one even knew, right? So like,
Sorry, can you just sign in?
you got exactly. It's like 2:00. You got HR, finance looking about, and he's hopping on people's desks, like rinsing it out. So that was a highlight for me, man. Yeah.
funny one. I've got a good one, but I think they'll hate me saying this actually. So back to the 30.
I'll tell it anyway.
Tell it anyway. 34th birthday. Gone out. Armand van der Helden, marketing team smashed it. We sold out. Come on site. Set was he gets going. Crowd's going mental. And we've got multicam. We've hired in cameras for the night. Doing loads of content. Really important. 35th birthday. Loads of the office team have come down for it, as you do.
Yeah.
Anyway, and during the night we're like, whoa, some of the office guys are dancing a bit close to Armand. Not sure if that's going to be in the camera and stuff. One of them being our FD, she'll let me saying this. Anyway.
Big up, Sarah.
Big up, Sarah. And we're all a bit like, I don't know if that's going to be on camera or not. Like, yeah, it's a bit like everyone's going mad in the DJ booth. Anyway, the next week we come into the office. Joe and Adam are reviewing the content from the weekend. Anyway, I come over going, how's the content? It's going to be amazing. Everyone's going to love it when we post that online. And they're like...
I was like, you're not going to like this, Matt.
You're not going to like this. Content's not good. We've just got the FD, the MD, head of HR, just
all over Armand. All over him. Like, literally, like grabbing him up.
Yeah.
And they were all just like, in the box.
Adam, content producer, turned to me just like, I just don't think we can use any of it. I'm like, what? Rumours start going in the office, like the content's fucked, basically, from the weekend. And people have just got beer guilts of like, oh my God, what have I done?
Is that why you made the booth?
Yeah. That's now we've put a gate on the DJ booth, so like,
it's strictly locked off. Anyone in the senior leadership team is locked.
Brilliant. I love that though. When people get involved because they love the brand.
The thing is, that's why
it was such a good night, man. It was like a real highlight of the year. That one, and I think everyone loved it. Like it was all in jest, good jest. You know what I mean? And we still got some content. It still went out, but it was just
staff.
It's important to like we're back in what we were saying at the beginning. It's like, and that's why the passion in this building of people, like, it doesn't matter what department you work in, you've got a passion for the club and you want to be in, night. And for us, it's like, that's what makes it worthwhile as well. Like everyone coming down and everyone getting involved and stuff.
Yeah, and that story's like a brilliant.
Yeah. We want, jokes aside, we want everyone here. And that's why, that's why the legacy continues.
Staff letting the hair down is, it's a huge thing. But
that's why we do it.
Our staff parties for us as well. I'm sure you guys are the same now, where just like stuff of legend, like everybody would just lose their inhibitions out the door. James would make an appearance for like maybe a little bit at the beginning, and Lohan and Hector and the guys would all come down.
Did you ever get that Palace jacket back that you lost?
Oh, no, I didn't. No.
Did you not? There you go.
I need to go search for that in a bit. Yeah.
But there was
throwing that in there.
That's throwing me off.
Good segue.
Yeah, just a cheeky one in there.
There's zero context whatsoever.
Staff parties.
Staff parties. That was the context. Staff parties.
My favorite. I mean, I've got loads of funny moments in here, but my favorite thing that always sticks out in my mind was one of the staff parties, and it was like, all the office staff would come down. Everyone would be great, drinking, whatever. But it would go wild when all the bar staff would come down. They'd come down later on in the night. Like all the club staff and the office staff would all come down at the beginning, and then the bar staff would come a little bit later. It's like, when you go to a wedding and some people get invited to the dinner and then the dance. The bar staff are only invited to the dance, right? For good fucking reason, because they would come down and just lose their fucking minds, like up in like Coyote Ugly in the bar and shit. I remember I went into the office to charge my phone. I went for a piss, come out the toilet, and where Caitlin's offices and stuff, and I used to be where the photocopiers were, and I come out of the toilet and I'm standing, and I've got like an eye line straight at the photocopier and also straight at the front door, and at the photocopier are two of the bar staff photocopying their tits. And I'm stood there just like, well, that's new. And then I hear the door open. I look to my left, and Hector, who was CFO COO at the time, comes in, and they can't see him and he can't see them yet. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And he just starts walking down, and they're on their, she's like sat up there with her ass fully sat up on top of the photocopier, ass, tits, everything. And I'm like, what? I'm like, this is wild. I can't wait for this to kick off. And he just walks over, and she turns her head, and he just looks at her. Nobody said a word. And I'm stood there just like, and she looks at him, and he looks at her, and he just went, and then just kind of walked off. And I'm like, oh my God. Next morning we come in, there's 100 photocopies of this bird's tits on everyone's desk in the whole office. was amazing. Needless to say,
So good.
it was fired.
Yeah.
But
But you had a laugh.
yeah, it was great. Nice tits.
Yeah.
So yeah, these stories that you're telling, I think that's such an important part of the brand. Like just to finish off, like, do you still think it's going to be here in another 35 years, based on like the good vibes and the energy and the history and stuff like that? Will we still be here in 35 years? Will this brand still be here in 35 years? Do you think?
I think it will, man. I think it will, mate. Genuinely, and it's down to exactly what I said. It's about the passion, right? That people have from the top through to the right through to the bottom, man, and ground up again. Like, it's just like the passion will ensure the legacy lives on. The way I feel about it, and I think that's really been instilled here, right? Like in all departments, and I think everyone will still wanna uphold that. There are so many stories about this legendary place, as we all know, and you know, it's amazing when you go out and you tell people that you work for Ministry of Sound, because most people have a story about it, and I think that alone is enough for people to want to make it live on.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And you know, it's instilled in the staff and doing that. And listen, from us, we're not, like Joe said, we've refurbed every part of the club again. And, you know, new VIP area, the green room, we've just invested in a brand new green room. Like, it's like we've got a great, amazing space now for the art and stuff. And like, we're really investing to make sure that the club's here. It is here for another, you know, 5, 10, 20, 35 years and stuff. And like, we're not going to sit back and just let it, you know, fall apart and stuff. It's like, we're investing in it.
Yeah.
We're driving, you know, good standards to sort of maintain that business.
You can be confident I'll still be fucking talking about it.
Exactly.
I remember when
wheeling you in. Yeah.
Guys, I like that. That was, I think that was one of our best ones we've done, and we're doing it live from here as well. It's made it extra special. We always finish the pod off with just a couple of quick fire rounds, just like simple artists to both of you. What was the one club that changed your life, both of you?
Say
Ministry of Sound if you like.
No, you go first.
I straight away thought of it. Robert Johnson Club in Frankfurt. I went there when I was like early 20s, like, and it's tiny. I don't know, for a bit, and it's like really small, and it's like, wow, fuck, and it's like, it reminded me of like if anyone remembers what Wire Club was back in the day in Leeds and stuff, and Leeds, it's like that small, low ceiling, real like simple lighting, but yeah, DJ booth just in the middle of the dance floor, incredible. Yeah, that's a life changer.
Okay. Nice.
Joe?
For me, it was Amnesia in Ibiza. Like, my favourite film growing up was Kevin and Perry Go Large, right? And obviously everyone knows the scene where they go in there and they get puked on and all the rest of it, right? And it's, you know,
classic.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, legendary film. I used to watch it countless times. But going there when I was about 20, 21, and it was my first time going to Ibiza, and, you know, you just I just remember the getting the butterflies in the queue before you went in, and getting in there was just like insane, like blew my mind. And I think ever since that, I knew I just wanted to work in club world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, and also I could just to follow out a little one, Watergate in Berlin, smashed it as well. Just my first trip to Berlin changed my world.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in another one. Actually. I've only been the once. The End, R.I.P.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow, yeah. Do you know what? I only went once as well, but I remember it just being incredible.
I went to a minor showcase there, like on like New Year's Eve once, and I was just like, that was like, you know, life changing. Richie Houghton in there, like, wow.
Yeah, amazing. Like, final question is like, who's your dream booking then for this room then? Both of you. Who would you want?
Me, I know Zach straight away, because it's someone I've wanted to bring back to the club. Harvey, getting Harvey back.
DJ
here.
Harvey, yeah,
amazing, and it's happening.
Okay, amazing,
nice.
It's happening, and for me,
is that an exclusive?
That is an exclusive. It is happening, and for me, he is one of the, you know, personally and stuff. He's like absolute legend, and I've seen him around the world. I've seen him in Miami to Lisbon. Like, he's incredible, and you know, he is what symbolizes sort of Ministry. He's been here from day one and stuff. And he's not been back in the club for so long, and it was something that I've been working on since I arrived in the club again, and it's happening.
Amazing.
This year.
You've definitely got a challenge though, because the last time, I think it was the last time he was here, that artwork is maybe my favorite ever Ministry artwork.
Which is printed in the
the
office.
GTA style.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. It's
right.
in the office. It's
Massive
behind
shout
where
out
you
to
used
Ryan
be.
Winters, by the way.
Yeah.
Mad ass.
It's so good, isn't it?
It's my favorite.
It's in the
ever,
office.
My favorite ever Ministry artwork. So yeah, you gotta beat it.
It lives behind Travis, our head of talent.
Yeah.
Behind
It's
his
on the wall,
desk.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
amazing. I
incredible.
loved
So,
it.
so yeah, for me, he's there.
Okay, pretty strong. Joseph finishes off there, mate.
Do you know what?
Top trumps that one.
I've been lucky enough to have some of my dream bookings play already,
Right.
so I'd love to see him come back. But I've been lucky in the 2 years I've been here. We've had Fatboy Slim play, who's always been a favourite of mine. Armand, like I said, I've always been a bit of a fanboy of Armand. And Norman J, who we got to see last year as well. So, but there are a couple of people I'd love to see. I'd love to see Marco Corolla, and I'd love to see Frankie Rosado. Both we are trying to get, so hopefully they come through at some point.
Okay,
Nice.
Yeah, I think that'll be brilliant. Guys, thank you so much for coming on and for letting us do this here. And
Thank you.
yeah, we wish you the best of 35th birthday.
Yeah, and massive
yeah,
congrats.
yeah,
Thank you.
The place
Appreciate it.
like what you guys have done here is unbelievable. I wish it had been done this when I was here. but yeah, it's incredible. And like, to see the tours and all the stuff, and massive congrats. And we're both super excited to see what's coming next. So
Cheers, boys.
Thanks for having us on.
Cool.
Thank
That's
you.
a wrap.
Cheers, guys.